Welcome to the Brain Crops Podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Myers, and today we are going to wrap up our discussion on overcoming a habit, pattern, or problem with pornography. And as I thought about what I wanted to say as we wrap up this discussion today, the thing that came to mind and heart stronger than any other message is that this can be an area of opportunity that people feel a lot of shame around. So if that's been your experience as you've been reflecting and thinking about whether or not you may want to cut back or cut out pornography from your life, if you've had some shame, if you've had some guilt, if you've had some uncomfortable feelings, I want to recommend that you release those, at least for now. Just dismiss them. And I know that may sound easier said than done, but the way I like to put what I'm saying into practice is when you have a thought option, which is what all of our thoughts are, they're options, and it sounds something of a judgmental or critiquing nature about what you've been doing or how you've been in the past, you always have the opportunity to go back and revisit that thought or revisit that situation. So what I want to recommend that you do, knowing that you can go back to it, is that you go ahead and just dismiss it for now. And I even like to imagine that it's actually leaving out the top of my head. It's just kind of poof, going up into the air. And that visual actually helps me as well. Because here's the thing, shame holds you back. Shame keeps you uncomfortable. Judgment feels painful. Judgment feels heavy. And so when we can release ourselves from those types of approaches as we are thinking about making a big change in our life, and if we can embrace a little bit of self-compassion and maybe some curiosity to really try and get to know ourselves and get underneath why we've been doing the things that we've been doing, we're going to be much better prepared for making those changes. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say, because so often when I start working with someone on this type of issue, it's been an issue for a long time that they've wanted to uncover and release. It's been something that they've tried on their own to dismiss. It's been something that there have been a lot of attempts, followed by relapse, followed by another attempt, followed by relapse, which then perpetuates the shame, perpetuates the frustration. And when I ask, why didn't you reach out sooner? Why didn't you get some support or help before now? A lot of times what I hear is that the reason the first outside support was reached at such a delayed time period is because the person needing the support felt like it was going to be a humiliating, embarrassing, shameful experience. So, and maybe it would be. Choose who you go to, because there are a lot of people with a lot of opinions about things. But if you select your coach or counselor or therapist or group or course appropriately, I think you're going to have a really good chance at finding something that's a good fit for you. So just like you would take the time to research anything, where you're going to go on vacation, where you're going to go out to eat, take some time to research the types of supports you want to put in place. And I recommend a multi-layered approach. So I have a course, Quantum Upgrade Personal Transformation, and it's a very beautiful course. It's professionally recorded. It's interactive. It's great. We've got a community aspect so that you can connect with other people as you're going throughout this recovery journey. But I'm not the only course out there. I'm not the only support out there. A lot of people find it useful to use my techniques and structure alongside other meetings or other therapies they may be attending, because what we have in place is something that you can do at any time, mobile friendly. And like I said, there's that connection available via the community. So it offers a lot of the supports that I've seen in my 25 years in the addiction recovery space to be fundamental for people wanting to make a lasting change. Having that said, there are books, there are groups, there are facilities. So do your research, find one that feels good to you, and commit for your own good. Commit to giving it a really fair shot before you decide it's not for you. Now, as you're going throughout the process, going right along with the releasing of the shame, I want to remind you that this is going to be, like I just called it, a process. So there are a lot of things that we can just flip a switch. For example, I sell my house and I move to a new one. Now I no longer live at all, ever, at the old house. In fact, it would be really weird if I pulled up and walked in the door to my old house. But changes like these, when you've had an established habit that you've been engaging in for a long time, they actually do take time. You may pull up to that old habit and you may even open the door. And that may never be your case, but let's say that it is. How do you want to respond to you? Because like we've talked about in the past, you are the loudest voice you're ever going to hear, and you're the only voice you can never run away from. So think about how you want to coach yourself through those moments where you look back and realize that you've done something. Maybe it's big, maybe it's small, but you've done something that you want to do differently as you continue to move forward. What we want to do is place a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus on noticing the progress. And this is why having some sort of multi-layered approach can be really useful, because when you have a community, and your community can be your therapist, your community can be a group that you attend, your community can be an online community like the one in our course, your community can be a lot of things. But when you have a community, you have other people around you helping you to remember that you are progressing, helping you to see how far you've come, helping you to know that you're not alone, that overcoming this habit is a journey, and a lot of people have successfully taken this journey. And not only are you not on your own, but you don't even have to navigate it by yourself. There are lots of people around you who can tell you, hey, this is really useful to me. Or when I'm experiencing a trigger, here's one of my strategies, or here's the way that I'm tracking my progress. These are all things available to you that can support your unique and tailored approach to your growth and development. And building that supportive network, whether it is through coaching or community, or even just trusted individuals in your life, like friends and family who may have gone through the same thing, these can actually support you in creating new perspectives, both about yourself and about this process, that'll widen your perspective as you're making decisions about how you want to think about things, how you want to approach, and what might be most advantageous for you as you move forward. Because here's the thing, your future self is worth it, and your future self is counting on you. Everything you do today has everything to do with the life you get to live in the future. So the options are, if you have something to work on, whether it's with pornography or something else, if you have a pattern or a habit or a problem in some area that you've identified, your options are to begin working on it now, or delegate that work to your future self, which will probably at that point be a more compounded, heavier, harder situation for you to deal with. It's completely up to you. You just need to decide what you want. And when you're ready, when you're really ready, what you want will be more compelling to you. It'll be a stronger pull than the temporary pleasures that you're getting from the things that you don't really want. And we all know when we're indulging in something or making a decision or engaging in a behavior that we don't actually want in our life, but it just seems good in the moment, we know. And so when you're ready, and you will know, when you're ready, the choice is yours. And I recommend that you do it without any shame, get a community around you, and remember that your future self is counting on you. Until next time. I appreciate you joining me for today's episode. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. I appreciate you joining me for today's episode. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show to help you create the life you truly desire.